Hello, parents, family members, caregivers. I'm Mrs. Davis, and you're landing here with me in the Happy Place to Grow. This is video number 3 in our preschool prep series, and I know that if you're here today, you are interested in all things growing your preschooler, your toddler, into a well-skilled little person to be able to handle the learning environment in pre-kindergarten and kindergarten. It is a journey. You know, as a Gigi, my kids are all grown, and now I'm really fortunate to be able to keep my grandson, and I've had him since he was just a baby, and I've seen him grow from his little baby stages to his toddler stages, and now he's in preschool. You know, I just have taken for granted all of those skills that are necessary to be able to do things like zip up a zipper or tie a shoe or even go to the bathroom. As an adult, we take for granted and we think, oh, this will be easy. I'll just tell my toddler, I'll tell my preschooler, show them how to do it, and they'll be able to do it. But it is definitely a journey. So this has inspired me, time with my grandson, it's inspired me to reach out to you because I have learned a lot. Or we'll say I've been refreshed because my children are older, and I have some other grandkids who are in school now. So I had to sharpen up on my skills. Things I thought were easy and he should be able to do, my little guy, he struggled. So I would have to Google, research, I took classes so that I could find out the best way to help him to be successful. Sorry about that lighting. We're having a partly cloudy day here in the neighborhood, so I may go in and out. That is the world of video at home. Anyway, this is video 3, and it's all about life, right? I'm talking about life skills. And life skills, those that you are working through at home, are definitely essential for a successful transition into the school environment. I mean, there are so many skills that are necessary when you're not around to help as a parent or caregiver. They're going to be in a classroom with other children, maybe 10. If they're in kindergarten, there might be 15 or more, and only 2 adult bodies, a teacher and an assistant. So your child needs to really gain the confidence and the skills associated with life, doing life every day. So when they're on their own, they've got it. So let's get started. It's all about those life skills. So the first thing I was thinking of when I was making my list of life skills is something we all love to do, eating. Yes, eating is definitely a skill. You might just think, oh, we just eat. But you have to think about a little preschooler or a toddler, you start as a toddler, and they're exploring food and they're eating with their fingers and they're grabbing and they're pinching things. And as they start to develop, they have to learn how to use utensils, right? So at school, they're going to be sitting in a spot with other classmates, maybe at a lunch table, maybe if they're in preschool, it might be in their classroom, but still at a table. So they have to learn, number 1, to be seated, how to be seated, how to sit on their bumper and face their food. They have to be able to use their utensils, their fork, their spoon. They have to be able to, some of their utensils, especially when they're maybe in elementary school, they have to rip that plastic, get out the napkin, get out the straw. So working on how to hold what kind of utensils and how to hold those utensils, having their food on a tray or a plate, and how they can eat over their plate. And of course, using that napkin, using those good manners. And we definitely want to include healthy choices too, because at school they will have some different kinds of foods maybe than they're getting at home. So offering good healthy choices. And I say, if you're eating and you're able, this is really important, have family lunches or family dinners together. Sit down with your toddler, your preschooler, and enjoy a meal. Or even if you're just having a snack while they're eating, and have conversations. And at that time, maybe you can talk about how we don't talk with our mouth full of food. We wait until we swallow, because that can be a safety issue too. How we wipe our face and hands after we get food all over, and how we're eating over the tray, and how we can have conversations with those that are around us, and how fun that is to eat and enjoy. So if you are able to have lunch with your child, even if you're just eating a little bite, a little snack, or drinking some coffee, it's good to sit down and model that activity and join together with your preschooler. So eating utensils, eating over the plate, eating healthy foods, and having a good conversation. So as you're working on life skills, I know eating is a natural thing that we do every day. I would say definitely too, turn off the devices, turn off the TV. Don't have any distractions going on, because eating is a time of pleasure. You enjoy eating. You're thinking about what you're eating, and you're having those conversations with people. So turn off the TV, turn off the devices. You, parents, caregivers, put your device down too. Model what it's like to enjoy a meal together. Okay, so eating, number one life skill. Second life skill that I thought, oh yeah, don't forget milk. Opening a milk carton at school. Now, when I was going to school, we had to open a carton, and that was a little difficult. So the teacher usually, as a teacher, even with first graders, I had to help mine, and they would put their straw in and then close the carton. But nowadays, sometimes they have those twists. So working on the twist part, maybe you can get some lids, some drinking containers that they have to twist. Practice that. Get that skill down so it's not a spill when they twist. That could be a situation for sure. All right, next life skill that I've got down here is putting on clothes. When my grandson was learning about putting on his clothes, it was really interesting because he would put them on backwards, and he would put them on inside out. He would put his arm, he tried to put his armhole on top of his head. So we really worked on that day by day. I didn't always do everything for him. I said, well, let's try this. Let's see how we can make putting on your shirt easier. So we would talk about clues. If you give your child clues, buttons in the front, tag in the back. Some shirts don't have tags, but if it has writing or a tag, if it has a collar, what would be the front? So spy out the clues, right? And then we talked about the holes on both sides are armholes. They're smaller. So first of all, we would look for our clues, And we started with a shirt. That was pretty easy. And then we talked about, I would lay the shirt on the couch or the floor, and we'd say, now when you pick this up and you put this on, that's the hard part. You would think you could just put it over your head. But a lot of times he would, even though we get the clues out, he put it on backwards. So you have to really help them adjust to how they're putting it on, because laying on the floor or ground is going to be opposite of when they put it on. When they pick it up, it's going to be backwards. So then we switched it and we would put it upside down on the floor, so when he picked it up, he could put it on. We practiced that a lot. And then we went to pants. Well, we went to underwear. Underwear, well, he's a boy, so we talked about the design of the underwear and what was on the front as a clue. And so we talked about sitting on the floor, we put the little underwear by his feet, and then he would slide in foot 1 and slide in foot 2, and then he would pull them up. Sometimes he still gets them on backwards, but most of the time he's got it. Pants the same way. We laid them on the floor. He put one leg, the other leg pulled up. Pants have a lot of clues, with the zipper in front for boys most of the time. And pockets, we talked about the pockets. So putting on the clothes. The hardest thing we still have trouble with is the socks. So talk about heel and toe, toe and heel, and how you can put your little foot in there and then you pull up and straighten. And then shoes, of course, that is going to be a struggle if they have laces. So you might want to work on putting the shoes. Now, he got the left and right foot right away. We worked on left and right when he was little, when we put on the shoes for him. And we would talk about left and right. And he just got that really quick. So maybe put the shoes out in front. And if the little toes go, if they're on the wrong side, they're going to go in the wrong direction. So you can sit them down on the floor first so that they're in the right spot. And then one foot and then the other foot. It's going to take some time. It's going to take practice and patience. The most thing I said is you can do it. And then when he would do it on his own, I'd be like, you did it. Doesn't that feel so good? And the smile on his face, because of course at school, nobody's going to be helping them when they go to the bathroom in kindergarten. They're on their own, pulling the pants up and down, right? Hey, that brings me to another life skill. How about going to the bathroom? Now, this is a skill that's based on your home and what your philosophy of when to potty train. So that's totally a family choice. Whenever you decide to potty train, whatever age, work on where they're going to go to the bathroom, what little devices. We tried a number of potty seats for our little D, and we had multiple. We even had a travel one so that he wouldn't fall in. And so we worked on what kind of devices. We taught him how to put his little potty seat on as he got old enough, right? How to sit there. And so that is a journey. Work on that every day as you start to decide that it's time for potty training, one step at a time. Again, I would definitely do my research on that. But one thing we did for our little D was we had a little chart in the bathroom. And when he was able to think about feeling like he had to go to the bathroom, and he went in there on his own and said, I have to go to the bathroom, or he asked us to help him to go to the bathroom, I have to go. We would bring him in there, and then he got to stick a sticker on the chart. So we had a little incentive going on. We had those accidents, we had those setbacks, but again, just keep journeying. You definitely want to make sure that your child is potty trained before they go to kindergarten, for sure. And sometimes that's even a prerequisite for preschool, that they need to, because you're thinking about a preschool teacher and assistant. They have lots of other children. So taking your child to the bathroom, or lots of times if they're not potty trained and they're wet, and they have to change clothes. So this is a really important and essential life skill. And then talking about pulling your pants back up right and washing your hands. And the correct way to wash your hands, because after you go to the bathroom, they need to wash their hands. So definitely an important life skill to make sure you've gotten down definitely before kindergarten. Now our journey right now, we have our little D is a preschooler. So I know this is going to sound funny, but we still have to wipe him. And I told my daughter, it's time to work on finding some information about, because again, things we take for granted, like wiping the booty cakes, don't come easy for a toddler. And right now he's like, I'm not doing it. I want you to do it. So that's our next phase, but we're just in preschool right now. So we've got time before kindergarten. You definitely want to get that done before kindergarten. And you want your child to feel confident in the area of going to the bathroom, because when they're at school and they're going on their own, you don't want them to feel intimidated or unconfident and not want to go to the bathroom because they're not quite sure about going in the bathroom on their own, being independent from you at home to go to the bathroom is going to segue them to school and having to go to the bathroom at school on their own. So you take all that for granted, but it's so important. You want to build independence and you want to build confidence. All right, definitely at preschool, another life skill is clean up. Everybody, let's clean up. Working on picking up toys and picking up even clothes when they take their clothes off at night, they get ready to go to bed, putting it in the hamper, putting things away that you get out. So you can help at home by making sure that there's a place for everything. I call it a house. Where are you putting your blocks? Where are you putting your little cars? Where do your dirty clothes go? My daughter, even, I'm proud of her, she has a little space for shoes, and she early on taught little D, when he gets home, take your shoes off and go put them in the little cabinet. And he does. So these little life skills expect, number one, have a place for everything. Number two, let children explore, let them play, let them get the toys out. But before it's all said and done, at the end of the day or at the end of play, you got to put the things away and expect that. Sometimes you could maybe put a song on like they do at school. Everybody, let's clean up. Or we've tried a countdown. There's lots of countdowns for kids. The thing with little D was with the countdown, he would watch the countdown instead of cleaning up. So that one we had to switch. Sometimes this was always fun, and it did incentivize him. I would say, let's have a race. I'm going to clean this pile up and you clean that pile up. We'll see who's faster. And he liked that. He liked the little race. Sometimes they just, they don't want to clean it up. They are resistant. So get involved and just say, okay, I'll help you, but you have to do your part. Let's have a race. Let's see I know I'm going to be faster. And after it's all cleaned up, have a little dance party. Yay, we did it. We did it. Make it fun. And sometimes you have to help out, but expect it. They can clean up and they can put their things away. If everything has a house, books in the bookshelf, dirty clothes in the laundry hamper, shoes in the cabinet, blocks in the basket, whatever. So have a place for everything. And once they get something out, put it away. It would be also a good habit before you get something else out. Put this away. Are you done with this? Okay, let's put this away before you get out your crayons, right? So cleaning up, because they're going to have to do their share at school and clean up. And thinking about that, make sure that your child, before they go to school, this is something we're going to touch on in our next video, social emotional. Make sure that they understand how to play with their friends, how to work together, how to share the load and clean up with their friends. You know, they're going to be eating with their friends, sitting with their friends, cleaning up. So make sure they have some social interactions. We'll talk about that more in the next video. Okay, so we've covered eating. We've covered potty training. Well, that's a journey for sure. Cleaning up, putting on the clothes. You know, it doesn't seem like we've covered a lot of skills, but those are major things that toddlers into preschool journey, into kindergarten land, they're going to need to be really efficient in those areas of life. You know, that's important. Also, definitely work on communication, where your child is confident to say to the teacher. So when they're expressing their ideas to you, they're talking to you, they're communicating, they're telling the adult in the room what they need, and they're saying please, and they're saying thank you. So you can work on those good manners too. Wow, we covered a lot in life skills. I know that you're going to do great as you journey through prepping your preschooler for all the necessary skills and abilities that will build the confidence that they'll need to help them to be independent as they journey to the next environment, kindergarten. I'm still working on a lot of things, and I know you are too. So I'm glad you're joining me. We can support each other. And don't forget to join me in the next one. We're going to talk about social, emotional, getting them ready for that confidence where they have to navigate through feeling sad, feeling angry, and they're going to be in a different environment without you. So let's talk about ways that you can work on those feelings, nothing more than feelings. Oh boy, I'm in a song mood today. Anywho, we will have a great conversation about working on those emotions and how to navigate those so at school they will be able to not always get it right, but work through those frustrations and those happy times and those angry times and those sad times. All right, until our next time together, work on those life skills. All right, and enjoy the journey, and I'll see you real soon.